Well, Coach, this week Emporia State, Pittsburg State, one of the oldest rivalries for Emporia State football, and we always expect a hard-fought game. As far as your team this week, are you pleased with the way the focus they've had getting ready for this game?
Yeah, I am. I think we've had a good week of preparation. Anytime you come off a tough loss like we had last week, it's always a concern. But we got great leadership, and it's early in the season. I think our guys, like I told them and we talked about, is we were going to learn from that loss. I think there's some things that we can definitely learn from, and then get it out of our mind, and move on and get ready to go play a very good Pitt State football team.
Pitt State has a new head coach. What changes or what might we expect to see different from Pittsburg State?
Well, I think changes, they do things differently offensively than what they've done before in the past a little bit. Defensively, they're different in the fact that they're more of a four-man front team than they are a three-man front team. But, it's still the same in the fact that they got great players, good athletes, big offensive linemen, big interior defensive linemen. So besides just schematically what's changed with them, besides that, not much.
You mentioned you had a lot to learn after last week. What are some of the things that you learned about your team that you were able to work on this week in practice?
Well, I don't know if it's like anything you take from that game just about playing four quarters and staying focused regardless of what the score is. And we were up 28-7. And we talked about at halftime the only thing we needed to do was win the third quarter. And it was talked about, spoke about. And, I've been doing this a long time, and when you're dealing with 18 to 23, 24-year-olds, some guys are listening, some guys are not. And, just like anything else, you learn a lesson from that, mentally, and so that's the thing that I feel like that we needed to learn as a team. Unfortunately, you hate to have things you hate to be taught a lesson, I guess, because you had to lose that game. And we felt like we should have won the game. We just did not finish the game. I give Missouri Western credit. They fought, and our guys competed. It wasn't anything from that end of it. Nobody quit. We just we didn't play for four quarters, and that was as simple as that. So moving forward, I think with our young players, for them, they understand what this league is about. And then our older players know, they know how tough the MIAA is. But then again, we hadn't played in a year, all right? So sometimes you forget things. Heck, I forget about, what do we usually do when we travel after a year, So, but I've been pleased with how our kids have responded this week, and we got another big test coming up Saturday.
And you had Billy Ross take on a lot of responsibility last week. Can you talk about his performance and how you thought he did?
I thought he did great. You always have that next man up, philosophy. Everybody says that, and he did it. Where Kanan Brooks, our starting tailback, was out, and Billy stepped up and. Man, he did a great job. He ran the ball 22 times, and I would sit here and tell you that if with Billy, as talented he is, he's a 175-pound running back. I would never think that he would go out and carry it 22 times, but he did. Tells you how tough he is. He also had 7 receptions, and he also returned a punt. So he was all over the place, and that's the talent that he has. So that was that was good to see. I think we definitely had confidence in Billy by all means, and I for him to have that type of game, he's definitely athletic enough to have that type of game. I just didn't know that we would see that from him so early, but he did a great job. He did an outstanding job.
Anyone? Okay, Laney.
Okay, yeah. I didn't know how this was gonna work.
Uh-oh.
So this was Missouri Western's second come from behind win. What did you notice that they do that allows them to come back and win?
I wish I knew exactly what they did because I would ball it up, but I think in a lot, like our game was different than the Hayes game. Hayes, I think, turned the ball over 3 times, where we didn't really turn the football over. We had 1 turnover, and then we got 1 from them. But like ours was more like we just gave up too many big plays, and we also did not score. We got a turnover and only converted that into 3 points. We should have had we had a touchdown. We went into some lulls offensively, which we have sometimes. And I don't think it was really anything that they do. I mean, their kids played hard. I give them all the credit in the world. They do have some skilled athletes to where, they can get behind you, or you can miss a tackle here or there, and they got an opportunity to go the distance. And basically that's what they did. I mean, it wasn't – they just kept playing, and sometimes that's just kind of the flow of the game. I definitely didn't envision that. I felt pretty good at halftime as well, being up 28-7 because we were stopping them defensively and we were having an easy time moving the football. But just never take anything for granted in this league.
What sort of things do you learn about your team after a loss than you do after a win?
Well, I think just how we come out of it, what our attitude's going to be like, how we are after the game, and I was upset after the game, to be quite honest with you. And sometimes I know, and that's a job of a head coach, and I'm not by any means saying I'm the best at it because I've made wrong decisions, but at that point in time, I kind of wanted to get on the team a little bit. Like, hey, we should not have lost this game. We're better than that. And there's been other times where, we played our hearts out and got beat, and I felt like I needed to rub their back a little bit, I probably fall on the other side of that, with the upset part. But, so that's kind of just kind of how they act, like what our mindset, what our attitude is. Do we blame? Do we look at ourselves? Do we make excuses? Those are the things I look at in a loss. Like, there's going to be some things schematically, like, hey, we didn't block this guy, or the quarterback made the wrong read, or, we missed a tackle. Those things happen. I'm more concerned with what our mindset and how tough we are mentally to come back from it.
Definitely. And so what did practice look like this week for you guys? What's it looking like right now?
Yeah, practice I've been fine. It hadn't been any different than any of our other practices. I think our players have done a great job in that, so I think they're just, a lot of times when you lose a game like that too, unfortunately it's not like baseball. We got a doubleheader, all right, or we could go play 2 days later. And we got to wait a full week, and that is tough. I think our players are ready to go play another game.
Nice, I like that. And so you have another road game this week. You already kind of talked about what you've noticed about Pittsburg State. So what's your game plan heading into Saturday?
Well, I don't want to tell you everything, all right?
You don't have to tell me everything.
Be who we are. I say that every week to our players. Be who we are. We know what our identity is on both sides of the football. Don't be anything that we're not. Don't try to be somebody you're not. Understand what your role is for this week, whether that be on special teams, whether that be, a receiver could be you're going to get a lot of targets. I mean, just do your job, do your role, and be a superstar in that role. So that's kind of what we do and what we talk about.
Thank you.
Yeah, you bet.
Marley, go ahead.
Okay, thanks. Hey, Coach, out of your last 3 outings with this team, Pitt State has taken all 3 of them. Does this game have
Thanks for reminding me.
you're welcome. With your senior class, your upperclassmen, are they wanting to get that win down in Pittsburgh, extra more since it's been so long?
I mean, I think our players want to win regardless of who it is. It's the MIAA, and everybody's my rival is how I look at it in the league. Now, are there some guys that, I would think they don't want to end their career without beating them. I could probably think of one individual, who's from a down around in that area. But we also know that that's not the only reason. That's not like the only reason you go out and compete. Now, is that part of it? Yeah, that is part of it, I'm sure. Something that we've not talked about. I haven't talked it up like, all right, we've never beat these guys, you seniors, no. Hey, get ready to play football, all right? You're a competitor, all right? We just got beat. Let's go compete this Saturday and play the best we can go play. Play hard, play for 4 quarters, and play in a great environment. That's the thing about Pitt State I love is how their culture is within their football, like how they support it. It's big time there. I love those type of games. It's going to be loud. We know that. I love that type of stuff, and I want our players to embrace that thing, embrace it. Let's go play. I'm ready.
I love that. Your wonderful SID, biased, but one of the best in the country, said in his game notes that you guys are leading the MIAA in third down defense. I guess how important is that part of your defensive identity of this team?
It's awesome. It's awesome because they go off the field. They go off and get the rest, and offense comes out, and we give us the ball, where we can go score points. Believe me, there's been times on third down where it's been 3rd and 10, 15, and a team gets a first down, and it depletes you. It depletes you, and our guys are not letting that happen, and they're doing a good job, and that's another reason why I think it's important is because it gives our guys confidence, and not that we concentrate any more on third down than any other down, but, we hold up, number one, we're letting everybody know it's time to get off the field on third down. Let's get home.
And you're also leading the conference in passing yards. How happy are you with your quarterback play, especially with the guy who's a first-year starter?
Yeah, I'm happy. I think he's doing great. Whether we're leading the conference in passing or not, from a statistical standpoint, that's not how I'm judging him. I'm judging him on how he is efficient, all right, and how well he manages our offense. And he's as efficient right now. He's playing at a very high level efficiently and protecting the football. I know we had 1 interception last week, tip ball, those things happen. But if you I look at what he's done from a production standpoint, 9 touchdowns, 1 interception, and he is dictating our offense. He's running it the way it needs to be ran. And does he miss throws? Yeah, he misses throws. Does he have the strongest arm in the conference? No, he doesn't. But he knows our offense, and he knows what we want and what we need to do to be successful. And so, yeah, I think he's playing well. I really do. And he can get a lot better.
Thanks, Coach.
You bet.
Brian or Jim, do you have anything?
Yeah, I do, Don.
Okay, Jim Henry from
Hey, Jim. Hey, I forgot about it. I can't see you, Jim.
Good to see you. I know you can't see me, but anyhow, you're talking about Jace McDown. Could you go back and review your recruiting of him and how he's developed through his career, and has he exceeded expectations?
He's exceeded expectations. He's standing right over here right now, but he has exceeded expectations, and he could be standing here or not. And I tell you what, when we recruited him on his film, what I was impressed with, it wasn't defense. It was him playing running back. And I remember the conversation with Coach Nardo at the time. We weren't signing a whole lot of running backs at that time, but he was very talented. He ran hard, and we talked about him playing linebacker. I think at our level, I think you got to do one of the most important things in recruiting is finding where players can play other positions and not being don't go out and be a cookie cutter recruiter, meaning this guy plays running back, we're going to recruit him as a running back. This guy plays receiver, we're going to play him at receiver. Some of our best players have been receivers that we've moved to corner. All right, I mean, he's one of the best linebackers that have ever stepped foot on the field out here at Welch Stadium, and he played running back in high school. And the things that I think has exceeded more is just the person that he is. I wasn't really heavily involved in his recruiting. All right, I mean, like he came on a visit, I talked to him, that sort of thing, but he didn't come because of Coach Higgins. All right, but he has exceeded our expectations in just the person that he is, all right, off the field, and how he makes our team better by the example and the way that he walks in his life, to be quite honest with you. And I mean everybody is impacted by that. And so he's exceeded expectations in that area. You know, and now again, he's an awesome linebacker. He understands the game. You know, he takes notes. I mean, he's got, you know, he's a student of the game. He's what you want.
Did you consider using him at running back at all?
You know, I'll be honest with you, I didn't. You know, like I was impressed with, I definitely wanted to recruit him. I do know that I did check mark that off and say, listen, we need to recruit him. He's tough. I know he's tough. He's from down there in southeast Kansas where we're getting ready to go play somebody. So if we can get somebody out of that neighborhood, it feels good, you know. And we want guys that want to be a part of our program for the right reasons, all right? And he's one of those guys. You know, he's not interested in all the flash and, you know, all the nice stuff. He wants to come to a place, going to treat him right, be a family, and thrive in it, you know. And that's who he is.
Thank you, Don.
All right, we good? Everybody good? Thank y'all. We'll get Conner on here.
See you guys.
Thank you.
Comments? Another big game coming up for you guys. I guess every game's a big game anyway. This is going to be your first chance to go to Pittsburg State. Are you looking forward to this opportunity?
I'm very excited. We've been working on, like, Welcome to the Jungle. We opened up practice with that. Just getting used to that loud crowd. Excited for it.
Looking at the way the offense has played through the first 3 games of the season, what is it that has you excited? Where do you feel like you guys have maybe excelled through the first 3 games?
I think we're doing a great job in just passing the ball, but also when you watch our film, there's a lot we leave out there. So it's kind of exciting to see that there's a lot more that we can do.
You're part of an offensive line that is, as far as playing together, game situations, is pretty young and pretty inexperienced. As you get ready for game number 4 of the season, how comfortable do you feel playing with your guys?
I think after we got that first one out, we kind of got all the stuff out, and it just kind of feels like we're just all playing as a unit now. It's not everyone's like first start, so it just feels like we're more fluid and able to like talk to each other, communicate. It goes a lot smoother out there.
Is it more instinctive now for you guys?
Yeah, I think so. Especially as the unit, you can just tell we talk, we move better out there. Especially in that last 2-minute drill we had versus Mo West, it just felt like we were moving well, and there's no one like asking what's going on.
After last week's game and kind of struggling in the second half, do you feel like you have something to prove this week, or is it more about going
I think
business as usual?
we just business as usual, but we kind of just went back and focused on our 1% because we know we can be good, we know we can be great. We just got to continue to do the little things right. I think if we get back to that, then we'll be back on track where we want to be.
Else? We good? Okay, go ahead, Lane. Go ahead.
Sorry, I couldn't unmute myself fast enough. Okay, Conner, what have you noticed about the Pittsburg State defense that you're just kind of looking forward to going up against as a lineman?
They got some pretty big interior guys, and we haven't seen that this season yet, so that'll be good. And their backers also are pretty big, kind of lengthy, so it'll be good to see how we handle bigger guys like that. And I think it'll be a good time.
Those are the questions that haven't been answered yet, so thank you.
Good. Anybody else? We all good? Thank you very much.
Thank you, guys.
Good luck. Jace, you know, a lot can be said about going back to Pittsburgh, back to your own backyard, so to speak. But for Emporia State right now, what's got to be the focus? What's got to be the mentality you guys take into this game Saturday?
As a whole, I mean, nothing changes. I think we're a really good team. I think, kind of like Coach Higgins talked about, in the second half, there was a lot of young guys that hadn't really experienced the MIAA yet. We'd won 2 games, and they kind of started to get like, oh, this is kind of easy. And we all had to experience it. I experienced it in 2017. I think we got beat twice, pretty emotional games, and you have to learn at some point that this league isn't a joke, and you're never safe. No lead's ever safe. No team you're ever safe from, no matter who it is. And I think we learned that, and I think going forward, I think we're going to learn. We learned a lot from it. We talked about it, and we've kind of moved on from last week completely, and we're just on to this week. We know we have the talent. It was great to see the offense. I thought they played really well. I thought the O-line played really well. That gives us more confidence because we know hey, if we can get off the field, your offense is going to go score. So it was good to see that, how they're moving the ball in the first half. And I think defense just has to be better at not giving up big plays. Coach Lindsey's talked to us about that. Even before it happened, before the game, he said, we're too good for teams to drive the ball 90 yards on us, 12 plays. Just don't give up the big play and we'll be fine. And that's exactly what we didn't do. So I think just tackling, not giving up the big play, not letting people get over the top is what our focus is on as a defense.
How much of it was maybe being in the wrong spot at the wrong time, and how much of it do you credit Missouri Western, because they made some very impressive plays?
Yeah, they did. They made a lot of some of those catches were 50-50 balls. We could have intercepted it. They could have caught it, and they made the play, and we didn't. A couple of times, I think we were pressing. I think we were pressing a little too much, myself included. It felt like we were kind of on our heels when they were kind of making that comeback, and I think everyone felt like they needed to make a play when we were just needed to be ourselves. And I think people started to press a little bit, and we started to get out of our gaps and run fit wise. And number 37 is a really good player. I think he's a freshman, but he made some really good plays. He's electric. And then I just think they made plays, we didn't, and we didn't stick to our game plan. We just started to press a little bit.
Hearing Coach Higgins talk, you're obviously a leader on and off the field. After a tough loss like that, what's kind of the responsibility you take?
Yeah. After the game was tough because I knew I needed to be that person, but I was hurting almost as bad as I've probably ever hurt after a loss. It was tough because it was right there. But I think coming into Sunday, I just realized we needed to learn from it. We can go two different ways after this loss. We can let it affect the rest of our season, and we can look back 8 weeks from now and think, man, if we just would have won that game, maybe we would have done this. Or we can think 8 weeks from now, we used that loss to learn from, and it propelled us to what we did going forward. So I think that's kind of the mindset we've taken, and I think we have learned a lot from it. We've had one of the best defensive week practices we've had. I think the DBs are doing a really good job this week just communicating. Pitt State does a lot of motions that they have to handle kind of on the back end, and I thought they've done their best job of communicating and talking that out this week so far. So.
Ladies?
Hey Jace, everyone talks about, not giving up big plays, but that's kind of tricky to practice. So just how do you kind of get better at not allowing big plays to happen?
Number one, tackling. I think we missed a couple tackles. Just a couple misfits where it was 4th and 3, I think, and everyone kind of we just kind of messed up our gap. They motioned, and we didn't make the tackle. We didn't make a play. Just knocking it down. There's always an opportunity. Maybe you give up 8, but if everyone were just to run to the ball, it's going to be 8 and not 40. So that's kind of our mindset is, as long as everyone's running to the ball, as long as we're giving great effort, it's always going to be 16 and not 60. So that's kind of our mindset. Unless it's a fade ball where it's one-on-one coverage, that's really the only situation where you wouldn't be able to affect that. So I think just running to the ball, everyone doing that, and I think we can knock down those big plays that turned into 40 last week.
And getting ready for Pittsburg State, just what have you noticed about that team?
On offense, they do a lot of different stuff. It's like I wouldn't say pro style, but they do a lot of motions. They do a lot of shifts. They do a lot of tight bunch stuff. They go under center. They're really athletic on the outside. They're really big up front, and the quarterback has a cannon. So I think it's going to be a tough game for us. I think if we're disciplined, and we get back to who we are, I think we have a good chance. But yeah, they're a really good team.
And you had 3 tackles for loss and a sack last week. Just how do you plan on building on that or continuing that this Saturday?
I don't really focus on. I mean, I'm just kind of doing my job, and if I end up in the right spot, I end up in the right spot. I don't really try and think this game I'm going to have 3 tackles for a loss or anything. I mean, we all kind of have our job that we have to do on each specific circumstance, and if you're there to make the play, make the play. And I think we've been doing a really good job of that, especially at linebacker. I mean, the tackles have been more, even than since I've ever been here, which is good. I think if that's happening, then then everyone's making the tackles when they're supposed to, and that's how it's supposed to be. So.
Yeah, all right, thank you.
Yep.
Marley,
Hey, Jace, 3 straight losses is big for you guys, and I know this is your neck of the woods. How big is this game for you to kind of snap that streak and to get win back home?
Yeah, I'd be lying if I said it. It wasn't important to me. I think it's easy to think every game's the same, but it is important. I mean, I'm gonna have a lot of family there, a lot of friends there. old coaches there. It would just be fun. It'd be really cool to go down there and get a win. It's not like the main thing I'm thinking of this week. It's not like I'm preparing any harder than I ever have, but it does mean a little more. And then I've heard, I mean, even some of the guys in the locker room, they've told me like, we're gonna get this one for you. So that feels good. Coach Higgins has mentioned it to me too. So yeah, I want to win this one pretty bad, but it's not like anything where I'm locking down or doing anything different than I would any other week. Yep.
Jim?
Yes, Jace, I was in Columbus High School a few years ago for a signing ceremony, and one of your comments that day was, I've been a Pittsburg State fan my whole life.
Mm-hmm.
How special is it to go back basically home to play a game?
Yeah, so my family was season ticket holders since I was probably 4 years old. My whole family graduated from Pitt State, I think. So yeah, it'll be fun. I've been to the Jungle probably over 100 times in my life. So I followed them in the playoffs, followed them on their national championship run. So yeah, it'll be fun. I love playing in good environments. I love going to Northwest, Hayes, Pitt. I think it's way more fun than going somewhere that's kind of dead. Even if the fans are heckling you in a negative way, I think it's fun to hear it, and I think you can use it as fuel a little bit sometimes. But yeah, it'll be really fun. I'm excited to see some old coaches and family that I haven't seen in a while. So.
Any idea how many family, friends, coaches might be there on Saturday night?
It could be like, I don't know. I know my mom bought just for like people close to her like 60 tickets in the visitor section. And then that's not including my coaches and stuff. So maybe, I don't know, 100-ish, maybe more. I don't know.
Have you exceeded your, going into college, has your performance exceeded what you expected?
Yeah, like I've got asked this a few times. I didn't really necessarily have a goal of I want to be all conference or whatever it may be. It was just kind of like thankful to be here, thankful to be in a place that I really enjoy. I've made 5 out of 5 of my best friends. They were 4 guys were in my wedding from here. So it's like everything that I could have asked for, Emporia gave me, and it's just kind of like a day-by-day thing. I kind of ended up where I'm at now, and I think I can do a lot more for this team. And I've had individual accolades, but I've still never made the playoffs. So that's one thing I've always wanted to do. Just making the postseason this year would be able to. I think I'd be able to say I left the place better than I found it, because in 16 and 15 they did make the postseason. So that's a big goal of mine as a team. So yeah, I definitely have. I never thought I would be a All-American or whatever. I never really imagined that. It was just kind of like let's go to work and see what happens.
This will be your second game in the Jungle, is that correct?
Yeah, well, yeah. In 16 I wasn't playing, but I went to the game when we beat them. So yeah, but I wasn't playing.
So your first really on the field.
Second in the field. Second in 2019 we were there too.
In 2019, did the reality exceed expectations of playing there?
It was a blast. I thought we played really good, and then they kind of switched their offense completely at the end of the second quarter and kind of caught us off guard. They were running veer, and then they just switched. They brought in the quarterback that they have now and switched to spread. Weren't really expecting it. They went up tempo and kind of got us. But yeah, it was a blast. We obviously didn't win the game. I think it was tied going into the fourth quarter, and then we kind of gave up some big plays again. So yeah, it was fun though. I think it'd be a lot more fun to look back on if it was a win. So that's what I'm going to try and do this time.
Last question, Jake. So do you miss running back?
Not necessarily. I do need to talk to Coach Higgins about getting at least one play. I remember Cole Shanky in 2016 got one. It was I know he fumbled it, so that's probably the reason I haven't got one yet, because it was bad. It ended badly for him. So I'm gonna have to talk about it though.
Thank you.
Yep. Thanks.
All right, everybody good? Appreciate it, everybody. Thank you. Thanks, Jason.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks, Jace.